But the only thing is that an alcoholic is simply somebody who reacts to alcohol differently.
Yeah.
That's it. So it's good that people are aware, especially young guys, that if you find you cannot handle your liquor, you're an alcoholic. It's better you make up your mind early enough to part ways. But you find society has made us want to fit in.
Yeah.
So you want to keep drinking. But you find your friends drink to a particular point, go home. Because I have friends who are doing very well. Some are doctors. I mean, why didn't they get stuck in this? Is it an issue of discipline? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's just an issue with genetics. So the better, that's why it's good to go get help. So you learn. So you stop pointing your fingers at yourself, because the whole of this time, everybody has been blaming you.
Yeah.
Because they think it's an issue of discipline.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's an issue of genetics. And it used to really frustrate me, because you're drinking with your friends, everybody's doing shots. Next thing, you don't remember the night, and you find yourself home, then you hear your story. There's a time I was on the magazine Pulse. Somebody found me on the floor, akanipiga picture. Then he put me on the Pulse magazine. Another nigger.
How was that for
it was
you?
embarrassing. It was I'm hearing people laughing about me. I'm wondering when I'm going to school, then I'm being told, Dan, you're on the magazine. And you don't remember that. You blacked out. I lost phones. Wow, my bro used to send me phones from the UK. Thursday, Friday, gone. Because all it takes, the brain, I think, would get to a point, and then you're still new to alcohol. Not some of the friends who I was drinking with were a bit seasoned, walianza mapema. So the KC, you're trying to do shots with them, out. So I used to black out a lot. So I used to think it's just an issue of tolerance, but it was my brain telling me this thing is not, it's foreign.
It's not good for you.
It's not good for us.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. And can sell insurance. Come see me. I was like, opportunity, fine. So my bro supported me with fare every day. But still, if you have a bit of money, that means at night you have a bit of drink. So of course it's going to be cheap liquor. So we'll do that every day. But I nilipambana. I really held on to the insurance thing for a while, because it was flexible and it kept me going. It gave me a reason to wake up and dress up.
Wow.
But if a man doesn't have that, you could easily plunge into depression, because you're meant to be productive as a man.
Yeah.
So through that productivity you provide. So it's important that any man out there stops focusing on his situations in life, but first get his hands busy.
Get productive.
Whatever you can do, however humbling,
take note.
just get your hands busy. Forget the noise. It could be you're married, your wife is, umepoteza kazi, your wife now is on your case. Block that noise for now. Or if you can listen to it, let it motivate you. Just get your hands busy. Whatever it is. Even though it's not paying, just get busy.
Ile kidogo, like just do something.
Just something that can wake you up in the morning and you feel you've applied yourself is very important for a man. The problem is that we dwell on what's going on around us.
Yeah.
And we forget, listen, that is beyond your control. What is within your control? Get up, go out, get yourself busy. Opportunity finds you out there.
Yeah, actually it will not find you in the house.
Not in the house. So through Langata I met my wife. And alinipenda, she loved me as I was. I was drinking a drink called Jebel. It was plastic. And we went to the house. And when we went to the house, she came because my housemate, we had gotten a house together. My housemate, the previous night, is also an alcoholic. The previous night met her friend at a club in Langata, which was called Oxygen. So she was coming to see him, and she came with her, and that's how we met. And she had noticed me around. She had seen me walking in Langata. So the chemistry was there. But for me, what I loved is that she did not judge me. At that time when I'd go to places, a club, I think the insecurity was with me already as a man, because I used to know how I used to look in uni and how I am now.
So you're feeling very conscious.
Yeah, and then, it would make me timid. There's a day we went out with a friend of mine, an Indian guy. He came and picked me up from a friend's house. And I was hungry, I had not eaten, we were chewing. And he bragged all the way in the car about how life is going well for him, and me that time life is
Oh
down.
my God.
We went to a club. At this club, there were some ladies, and we sat next to them, and they noticed us. So my friend was certain that these ladies were coming for him.
Oh,
Yeah. And they came for me.
with all the bragging he had done.
He had done. So he got annoyed and he said, let's go to another club.
Ish.
So that's why I've mentioned that story, is because I know the issue was with me.
Yes, from deep within.
Deep inside. But I was still done.
Yeah.
I was still done, you know. And I think that's what my wife saw. She was like, this is still done. you
Bless
know.
her.
So the problem is at times we forget who we are, who God made us. Despite the circumstance, that doesn't change you. You know, they normally say if you step on 1,000 shillings, uikanyage, mtu akuja ichukue, it's still a
Value yake bado ni hiyo
bado
tu.
ni hiyo tu. But we forget that. We focus on what life has done to us.
Wow.
So we need to always try and remember who we are, because we have been created by a super being.
Yes.
Yeah, so we need to remember that. So, or have people around us who remind us. So we met, and now these friends of mine, there's a time one of them spoke really badly. That house where I was staying, we couldn't afford the rent to Katoka. So I went back to living with these Langata friends, but now they had moved to Roysambu. So staying with them and trying to work, it was hard, but I used to really do my best. And I was able to close accounts then, you know. And then after that, go to. So one of them spoke badly and said something that annoyed me in front of other ladies, that I can't talk in this house because I can't even pay power. And that annoyed me. And I told my wife, I'm moving from this place and I'm going home. You might not see me because home is far. So it was either I stay with her or I go home. So she was like, come, let's try and see how we can make this work.
Yeah.
And that's how we started. Come, we stay.
Gosh.
So the good thing with staying with her is that every day I'd find my suit has been hanged, boiled eggs, some bread, some tea. She has gone to work.
Wow.
So an incentive to get up and work, get up and work.
Like everything is ready. What's
Is
your
ready.
excuse?
Yeah, go and work. So she's a good woman. She always she helped me do better, not even directly. And she would also help me with cash to do my hustle. So there's an attitude ladies have about that. Well, me, I'm telling you, if you can be with a man at his lowest,
Yeah.
don't worry about how he'll be at his best. That's between him and God. Just be with that man, because it's better. That's a very strong foundation in relationships. Most of the times, many people get into marriages when they are up here.
Yes.
And then when things go down, you hear a man alitokwa. He was left. Nyumba, people left with things, and then the guy goes into depression. It's because she doesn't know what low is for you.
Because she's never seen you in that
She's never
situation.
seen you in that situation. Not that I'm saying it's very important that you keep your hands busy, but don't ever wait to be in a wealthy sort of place in your life is to feel that's the time to get married, because you'll get somebody who'll marry that wealth.
By the way, you know, that's what guys are doing nowadays. Until they're waiting
They're
to get to a
waiting.
certain status, so that they can settle.
Me, I just think it's bad advice. That's my opinion. Somebody would disagree. Me, I think where you are, get a lady who sees your vision. The most important thing, do you have a vision? I'm good at camera work. This is my company. I've set up. Can we go out this weekend? No, there's no money. We have money for food. Is that, yes, sawa. Let's not buy food outside. Somebody would say, acha tupike nyama kwa nyumba, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Grow from there.
Mnajengana.
Jengana. The other yesterday I was watching news. They were saying about how they're not going to split things 50-50.
Yeah, I saw that. Sikufurahia. Sikufurahia.
Yeah, so, but what matters is if you can build together,
Yeah.
that's the most important thing. And you cannot ignore the fact that if a lady gives you peace at home, you come, you can relax, eat, sleep, wake up, she's pangered you, she is contributing to your success as a man, whether you like it or not.
That's a strong point.
Whether you like it or
Because
not.
most of the
As-
time we are asked, what are you bringing to the table? And your mama may not bring the financial bit,
Yes.
but there are other ways she's contributing to your life. There's some other value she's
That's
adding
it,
in your life.
In your life.
Are we acknowledging that? Ama tunataka...
You know, people like to argue that it becomes a case of wealth later on, but we forget how you even got there in the first place.
Yeah.
If she can provide a conducive environment for you to function as a man, that is very key.
I like that.
And it's only you as a man to realize that and stop being petty and say, you know what, yes, I'm here because of her. You know, Michelle Obama told, when they were at a restaurant, this guy who knew her, and Obama was like, how do you know this, the head of this restaurant? Like, we used to date in Nairobi, you know the story. And how he was like, so you would have married the chef? No, he would have been the president if I married him. If I married him, he would be the president, not you. So there's a lot of value a woman brings to your life. But we become petty as men, and we forget that. So, not that the women are off the leash. You need to provide peace and an environment.
Yeah.
Because that's all a man needs. Home. Life is already hard out here. A lot
of love and, you know, compassion.
Compassion.
Yeah.
Life is already hard out here. So when you come home, you want peace. You provide that, the man will thrive. You know, and he'll share with you ideas, and you can give him feedback. You grow from there. So yeah, so that's how me and Mama started off. And yeah, so she used to enable my drinking, not in a bad way, but that was how she showed me love. If I needed a drink, she'd buy, if she had.
Yeah.
That word enabler is not a bad thing, in my opinion. If that's how somebody, you know, that was how she knew Daniel needed a drink. Let me buy him a drink. That's fine. How much is he asking for? 300 shillings. It's okay. Today, yes. Tomorrow, no. But as she was doing that, Daniel was also improving, and Daniel started taking care of bills, paying rent. And we moved into another house in Gong. We got our first child. Now, through the period of staying with her in Langata, there was a day my cousin came and we drank together. And he passed also. So he came with a bottle, and my body was feeling sick because alcohol is not food, it's chemical. So you're giving your body chemical every day. And I told him, let's go drink a beer because I'm feeling sick. And we went and we drank a beer. Then I told him I'm not going back to the house. He can leave with the bottle. I'll go and join some friends. We were about to go out with my wife at night. So I went and I drank one beer. I didn't even finish it. And I was feeling sick. And I just went to the house. And when I got into the house, I blacked out. I told my wife we're not going out. I blacked out. Waking up, I found myself in hospital on a drip. So I think I had overdosed on my body just shut down.
Yeah.
Because there was too much, from the weed to the chewing and then the hard liquor.
Yeah.
Body had to shut down. So I had the story. My wife came. She found I was not okay. I'd wake up at night. I'd yell. So the neighbors were wondering what's up with Dan. And they normally say there's something spiritual about when you overuse substance. You invite spirits to inhabit you. There's a reading on that. When you overdo substance, you become a void. You allow foreign entities into you. So my wife never used to understand that walking around and yelling. She's trying to talk to me. I'm not there.
Like you're not aware of
I'm not aware what's going on. I don't remember all of that. So that was the first time she saw that. So even at hospital, I was watching the drip. So I can go get a drink because the body was, you could feel something inside you wanting another drink. And when we left, she was so angry at me for wanting to get another drink. So I tried to get a light drink to make it sound okay. But she didn't know this is alcoholism.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't know. So when we got our child, so all of this continued. I'd try and moderate my drinking by looking like somebody who just likes to chew. You chew, then you just have a little quarter. But that still is starting to pile up because yet again you're not eating well. And friends of mine saw me, for instance, the time my friend saw me blacked out outside a club once, even before I met my wife. I had come from drinking at a friend's house the whole night, woke up in the morning, there was some sambuca, I drank a lot of it, came home high, changed, because my other friend had called me for a plan. By the time we got to the club, my body shut off, so I blacked out on a floor. And my friend once saw me and he came he looked for me and he told me, Dan, no, you can't drink like that.
Yeah.
But you know me, I can't remember being on the floor.
But let me ask, all these instances, like those moments that you found yourself sober, were you able to have conversations with yourself, trying to understand what is happening, or you didn't give room for sobriety at any point?
Nothing. It was all about the next drug, because that time we were not really employed. So you'd wake up and want to chew. Or you don't really remember what has happened until somebody tells you, or until it becomes as crazy. Like now, the Langata incident, the landlord where I was staying said, oh, somebody spiked my drink. You get? That's the only conclusion they could have. Yes, somebody spiked my drinks. But really, it was just alcoholism taking its toll. Moving on, we lived in Ngong. Then when my firstborn, Neo, the day we were taking him for clinic.
How old now?
He's 7 now, turning 8. Now Neo, when we were taking him for clinic, I had been drinking a lot. So if I was not chewing Mogoka, I was drinking a lot of alcohol. So Mogoka used to call it the referee. Ilikuwa ina stabilize maneno. So it was either nachana. If I'm not chewing, pombe in excess, second generation. And that time there was an influx of fake alcohol. So we took my son to clinic. And I remember I was like on my 3rd quarter. When I was drinking it like this, then if I have coke na chase. It was so normal. And I used to think mini mwanaume because I can drink like that.
Tolerance yako iko high.
Saisi Blakey venye nilikuwa na Blakey uni. So after we took him to hospital, when we came back, I was like on my 4th quarter. At night, this thing happens at night. Nikaanza kutembea tena hivyo, walking across the room. So my wife is there with a small baby, wondering what to do. You know, then it was just me and her. So she had to call the watchman, and they came for me. They were able to convince me to walk down the stairs. We got into a taxi, took me to hospital in Ngong. So in hospital in Ngong, I was put to lie on a bed, and then I kept on waking up and blacking out, waking up. So she left me with my friend. And my friend left me there because he was annoyed. He was like, what's wrong with Dan? How can you be drinking like this? But even him, he didn't know this is alcoholism. But he should have stayed. Anyway, so he left me there. So my wife went home because of the baby. She called my sisters. Come, Daniel is in hospital. So by the time they came to hospital, Daniel has been moved because I think they saw this guy is not in a good position, or probably even acted mad. You never know, because that time it's not me. And I think there was a spiritual war going on for my soul. I actually think so, because there are times I had panic attacks. I remember glimpses of it, and it was very scary. So they took me to Kenyatta casualty. So thank you God, the lady didn't leave me. They put me there, but they stayed around. So my sisters came looking for me. They were told Lena Kenyatta. You know, I woke up at Kenyatta casualty. I thought I was in hell. Because first you don't know what's going on. After you wake up, the next person next to you, ameka kona crack hapa. Mwingine wanalia huko damu. And you just woke it up. Hey, I yelled my wife's name. I was crying. I was like, what? Where am I? You know. Then I saw some doctors laughing at me. Then I think they injected me and I went back to sleep. So my sisters came and they found me on a bed. And that nurse who brought me there, they took me to Nairobi hospital. And my friend who we used to drink with, when I was in USIU, it was either drinking in USIU or drinking in Kilimani, because we grew up in Kilimani. And that's how the Kilimani name became popular, Kids of Kilimani. We used to do a lot of drinking there. I've even skipped that whole story, but it was in excess.
Cool kids.
We were cool kids. We used to drink a lot. We used to party in Westlands. But now, like for him, he was in a position to make better choices. So he finished from medical school, went on. And I think even the relationship he had with his dad was also better. He was able to listen to what his dad was saying, which is very important. You need to be able to be sort of friends with your kids so they can listen to you, you know. But anyways, so he was a doctor at Nairobi Hospital. My dad drove down from Kisii at night because he had Daniel is not in a good position. So they had to resuscitate me at hospital. And when I woke up, I was being taken to HDU. And I started crying. And my dad told me, just relax. So the doctor asked me, Daniel, what do you do? I told him I'm a salesman. I sell insurance. Did you have a big bonus? Why did you drink like this? I didn't even know where to start. So he said, okay, let's keep you in HDU. Let's let the alcohol clear. We'll put you on a drip, giving you medication. Thank God for insurance. I worked for Britam. And I had inpatient, which covered that cost. And I remember that night at HDU, I couldn't sleep because I was having panic attacks. I'd sleep, I'd feel like I'm leaving myself. Okay. So I'd wake up scared. So I stayed up the whole night, hearing machines, other people in worse situations. But when I left the hospital, the first thing I wanted to get was...
Are you serious?
Yes.
After that experience?
I wanted to chew. Because that's what the body wants. You know, it's not you.
But at this point, do you understand the need you're trying to fulfill? Because all this, there's a need. All this behavior, there's a need that you are trying to fulfill.
Yeah, I mean, I knew, I knew I was stuck in a trap. And I also thought it was my way of life. I'd normalized it. So I had to listen to the body. Because if I didn't listen to the body, I would not be myself. So even my mom-in-law, who was staying around, when I've come from hospital and she saw me chewing, she would be like, gosh. Anyways, so I'd tell my wife, I'm not going to drink, I'm only going to chew. I just need to chew. So she'd look at me and just say, but 11 o'clock, let me just get 1 quarter, and the cycle starts again. Again. So that time I had stopped working for Britam because of payments. And no, I was still working for them. So moving forward, same routine. Every day chew, drink. Try and be productive in the morning. Every day chew, drink.
Hangi?
We just do cold turkey. You go in the morning, you wake up, shower, go and do something in town. By 2 o'clock you're through, start coming back to Ngong chewing. So to save on time. So one day I was in the house at Ngong. Now we had moved into another house. And I was feeling depressed. I was feeling down. Like my mom-in-law is in the living room. I'm in the bedroom. I don't have a job, rent, arrears. And I was like, who can understand me? Then I remembered my bro-in-law, they had split. Let me call him Mike. They had split with my wife because even him, he couldn't manage responsibility because of his alcoholic addiction. He's also an alcoholic. You know, me mind that what used to make me look okay is chewing.
Oh, at least.
Alcohol will make you look finished. You know, it will make you look old. Yeah. So I called him and he was staying in Rongai. I told him, I'm feeling down. I need an escape. He told me, come. So I told my wife, I'll see you tomorrow when we're taking Neo for clinic again. So I left. And I went, I met him. He bought food. We ate some chicken. Then he bought a bottle and we went to the house. So as we're drinking the bottle, I started feeling the pain I usually used to have here. So I told him, get our beers. So he sent for Guinness. I drank a lot of Guinness. And I blacked out.
Even with the pain still?
No, the pain. So I thought the pain, let me stop drinking hard liquor. So blacking out, I woke up in the morning remembering my son has to go to hospital. So I left in the rain, semi-conscious.
Okay.
I just woke up and went because I was like, my son needs to go to clinic. Then I think I had 1,000 bob in my pocket, so I knew I was okay. So I walked in mud, went, that's what I'm saying, semi-conscious. Got into a matatu, and let me take you back a little bit. A week before that, 2 weeks before that, my phone started acting up, and it needed to be flashed, to be formatted. So when I went to Safaricom house, they were like, we need to format your phone. So I told them, go ahead. So when they formatted my phone, when I put it back on, it asked me for a contact, emergency number.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, why is this phone asking me for an emergency number? I've not put a setting.
Yeah.
So I just put my wife's. So every time you try to unlock, you don't have the pass code, the pass pattern, but you'd see emergency number.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 weeks now
Prior
was that. Now moving forward, I'm going home at around 6 in the morning. And as I got to Kiserian, because I was going through Rongai coming to Kiserian, I vomited in the matatu. I don't remember.
Oh my gosh.
And
You don't remember.
I don't remember, but I sort of have a glimpse of it. So they were angry with me, and they saw I'm not in the right state of mind. So they left me at Kiserian, and they went. Now, I was told this by somebody who saw me, and he called me later on, like a month later. He said, I started walking. You see that thing I tell you for walking?
Yeah.
I started walking across the road
Okay.
like a madman. Like I'm lost. And there was a policeman who didn't do anything. And as I walked, then some guys spotted me, and they came and took me, and they wanted to take me into a chuom, into a dark place to go and rob me. But some taxi men noticed what was going on, and they came and they took me away, and they told those guys, Z, you're not doing that. So they put me in the taxi, and they're like, how do we help Dan? So they're looking at me, they're seeing this guy is not here.
Okay.
I try to imagine how I looked like. It's like I'm there, but I'm not there.
Like you're in a trance?
In a trance. So they looked in my pocket, they found a G, they didn't touch it. They looked at my phone, I wanted to call my wife, they did this. Emergency number. Because when I woke up in hospital, I asked my wife, how did you find me?
Aki.
Then when she told me, these taxi people found me, they found my contact on your phone, I knew that was God.
Okay. How do you explain that?
Because God had already gone ahead. That's why I normally know God goes ahead of our situations. So whatever it is you go through, He already knows the outcome. And He has already made a way for you. But the most important thing is that He wants you to be aware it's Him. Because that's now what made me spend more time praying when I was in IC, when I was in HDU, praying, and I felt a connection with Him, like He is with me.
Gosh.
Because I felt like I should have died there. These guys could have taken me into that place, robbed me, and thrown me into a ditch. And if it rained, I could have drowned. Simple. When I was crossing the road.
There were so many situations where you could have died.
I could have died. But that's when I realized God is actually with me. Because I used to really reverence God. That's all God normally needs. Acknowledge Him. Many of us try to run around saying He is there. Acknowledge Him. So I always used to acknowledge Him. And so by the time I got to hospital, Langata, they couldn't treat me. They told me, take this guy to, I think it was Mpisha, I'm not sure. I keep on forgetting the name of that hospital. So they got me there, and I remember crying in the ambulance because I just knew it is happening again. Because I remember waking up in the ambulance and I was like, no. Then I can hear the sirens.
Oh my God.
So I felt like a letdown. I remember my wife my wife told me, I was trying to tell her, let's go home, I'm okay. She's like, you're not.
Oh my gosh.
So they had to admit me. And as they were admitting me, I think I had a bad withdrawal. Or because when I woke up, I was tied to the bed, strapped. Like strapped to the ropes. Meaning I was violent when I was left. Because when I woke up, the nurses were scared of coming near me. And I'm like, what's wrong? Just help me with water.
Yeah.
Anyway, so something might have happened that night. That's why I tell you, with substance, especially when it gets the best of you, you open up to something. And God took care of me. And then in the morning, I'm told the doctor is coming. So I'm moved into the casualty ward. The curtain is opened by the doctor. Guess which doctor? Same doctor.
Oh my gosh.
From Nairobi Hospital. Same one.
Seriously?
Looked at me, he said, it's you again.
Okay.
No. Dan, this thing will kill you. Your name is Orenge. This thing will kill you. There will not be a third time. Gosh.
Did it make sense to you at that time when you said that time? You were like,
It made sense. Let me tell you, you know there's a problem, but so now, what are you telling me? What's the way out?
What to do?
What's the way out?
Yeah.
My body is already crying for alcohol. So what do you want me to do?
Even at that point?
At that point, it needs. So it took some time, but we got out of hospital. My boss at Britain paid. He knew there was a problem with Dan, and he could have said no, because even in the report there was something written, but he chose to just say, let's pay. That was God.
By the way,
Because my dad was not going to start paying 300,000.
yeah, that's a huge bill.
It's a huge bill. So working for insurance really helped, because even that's how my boys, that cover helped, you know, and I'm really grateful to them. They're still very dear to me. And so even when I left hospital, I went to the same routine. Lied to my parents, stop here, I'm going to get something. I went to get Mogoka. Even I'd go and buy Mira to try and lie to myself, because I thought Mira is better than Mogoka. Let me stick to Mira, because I've been told Mira will give you a high that will make you not need alcohol. So I was trying to run away from the alcohol. Yeah.
But still get high.
You still get high,
Yes.
because the body needed a high, which I believe is that X factor that needed to be sorted out. So that went on. But even at hospital, I became more conscious of God. I met a guy who had cancer, and we became good friends. And we spoke the whole night, and those are the bonding moments I had with God. So even as I left hospital, back into my addiction, the attacks of the alcoholism became lighter, though I had several more instances where I went to hospital. But they became lighter, milder as we progressed. But even there are times when our house was closed, and we were told to leave, and we went back to my mom's place, and I went and I saw a doctor who told me what I'm suffering from. She said, you have dependency and you need rehab. And I was thinking of, yes, that might be the solution, but the problem